Yeah, response video to a couple of videos by Pyrrho on his internet mapping thing or YouTube map thing and conversation tool or debate tool or whatever. And so I made two videos, one long one less long. And you might not be interested in this stuff. It's all these sort of technical issues, but also just issues about what we're trying to do here on YouTube, what we're trying to accomplish, and whether there's a way to do this as not just some hobby, but as a way of living, as a way of making a living. So I really empathize with his need as a programmer, this desire to use your programming talents to actually do something that you see value in. And I'm just the amateur style, so I don't do it as a living. I don't make any money doing it, and but I have the same liability, is that the things I've done in the past I found very useful, but other people haven't found them terribly useful. Some of them were funny. I mean, like the concentration game, if people know. I've used that for different things, but I mean, it originally started because I was into an art site and with figure models, I used to do concentration games of boobs and crotches, and it was it was pretty funny. The models liked them though, but it was just sort of, it even cut a person into pieces, and put the pieces in a concentration game. Anyway, so that's how that started, and I did the Monopoly game style thing, and the other thing I did I was the most innovative was years ago I developed the first version, more than 10 years ago I guess it is now, of one of these toolbox style things, where you'd have these options to do different functions where you could increase the size of the fonts and all that kind of crap. And but it's kind of funny. I should have the DNG. I mean, the other toolbox. I can make it load from here too. So I should add that one. I do have this one that can load from here, and it has the comment thing. So I've been trying to do this thing. I did have the debate pages, and nobody really played along with those debates very well. And with Pyrrho was who I had the debate arguments with. It still works, I guess. They're still there. I had to make some of them into icons just because I couldn't put too many of these YouTube players in one page, or it would kind of screw up in terms of not loading the page. But anyway, I've been working on this for years too, and it's just kind of discouraging that you can't get much interest in any of this stuff. You can't get enough. I guess there's not enough knowledgeable people to give you any really good advice, or to make any truly valuable contributions, or to play along and say, yeah, I like what you're doing, I'll join you. Here's my ideas. You give me half of your attention, I'll give your stuff half my attention, kind of thing. And then even us, we don't, me and Pyrrho, we get along good, as people, but our conflicts are our conflicts, and so we have a different way of looking at things and doing things, and we're both a little bit headstrong and all that crap, so we just haven't been able to find a medium or a mechanism through which we can help each other or walk in the same direction together, or however you want to look at that. I mean, we've come close, but we've never been able to seal a deal, kind of thing. But there's, I guess I'm still stuck at the bottom line is that, I wish you luck, and I'll try to support Pyrrho in any way I can in this effort. And, but it's always hard to, until you really give people it, for them to say, oh yeah, I want to support that. Supporting it before it exists is really hard to do. And then even if you're like Wikipedia, I mean, I like that idea where you create something and you say, okay, then you got to donate. And if you don't donate, the donate banner is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's just the way it's going to be until enough people donate to make the donate banner go away. You know, or something like that, you know, to keep yourself alive. But yeah, you still really have to have something people want, and you have to, you know, if you open source it all, then somebody can just steal it and use it some other crass way, more common denominator way, and then you end up losing control because you have to start turning yourself into a candy store to compete with the other uses of your own product. You know, which is very defeating. I mean, theoretically, somebody could steal half of most of what I've done, and you know, they could just use it as an ad server or some other mechanism. They could just put it to some perversely horrible use. That's sort of annoying about just the way the world works. So yeah, I mean, I'm still, you know, personally, I don't. It's not that I don't find the map thing interesting at all, but I do. But it's not. I'm more interested in creating new productive ways to enhance, to force conversation almost, to make it more publicly consumable, to turn it into more of the Logger Dome style thing I envisioned, which is, you know, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves kind of thing. Create a competition that gleans you to the best, and then the best do their performance, whether that's pay-per-view or some other kind of dopey thing. I don't know, maybe you could do something like that. But you know, in the end, you create something. There's a prize, and there's a reason for people to watch it because there's something at stake. And you know, people who are, you know, once something like that's established, then people who want to have credibility will have to show up and play in that arena. If you want to say that you're in the game, you're a player in the philosophical world, you'd have to show up at Vlogger Dome to prove it. You'd have to survive a Vlogger Dome. You know, to get that kind of status is where you need to be before you can really demand, you know, a living out of it. You know, something that's valuable enough that people are going to be willing to pay for it. And that's the problem. They're not going to be willing to pay for it before you prove that you can make the damn thing. Not just physically make it, but make it as a resource that people are going to give enough a damn about to turn it into something. But I mean, I like the idea of, you know, we're both doing the same thing of, you know, spider the web. I'm spidering it in the most crude way. You're spidering it more efficiently. But yeah, you spider the stuff. You find out what these people, who these people are, what they're saying. You get a record of them that you don't get from YouTube. I mean, these are all tools that we should have on YouTube. You know, there's no comments in this video, but you know, my tool does move the comments, so I should just load Pyrrho's video. So Pyrrho's video is here. And the window. You know, but yeah, YouTube doesn't give us much here. You know, it's a you know, kind of an empty resource in terms of who are these people? Adam O'Shea guy. I mean, I know I've seen his name, but I gotta think a minute. Is he an asshole? Is he not an asshole? Does he make videos? He doesn't make videos. He just makes shitty comments. He's a Pyrrho fan. He's an Amendum hater. What is he? And that record should be here somehow. We should know who this fucker is. And in a sense, I should almost have the right, in how I navigate the internet, to say, yeah, screw that guy. I don't want to see his shit. So instead of having to block somebody from making a comment, I should just be able to block them from me ever having to see them, any reference they make. Sorry, my nicotine bottle fell. Ugh. Very important. Low. Gotta make some more. I gotta buy some more. Yeah, Pyrrho's back to the regular cigarettes. Saw Greatex doing the e-cigarette thing. That was kind of interesting. I mean, we're all, you know, you gotta do it if you want to survive. It's just so irritating. I mean, it just, you know, it just makes life that much more stressful. You know, not to just be able to have a cigarette. You know, I just want to have a cigarette. I don't want to have to. Why should I have to live like this because of these assholes? You know, let's tax a minority. Let's go tax an underrepresented, politically protected minority. Let's just dump the problem on them for your bullshit. Just amazing. You know, these fucking donut eaters. But anyway, it's a whole separate subject. So anyway, I mean, I can, you can just sort of feel a little bit of Pyrrho's pain here. Because, like, yeah, he just kind of wants to be able to jump into one pool. He wants to be able to, like, go with something and, work on something that means something. And it's so hard to do that. It's so hard to find a way to make that possible where you can make a living doing something constructive. This whole point of creating better communication between people, inspiring more from people, provoking people, whatever words you want to use. I mean, some people are going to blame me for being unconducive to certain conversation, being destructive to it, and yet I'm going to argue that there's some conversation never take place if it wasn't for me provoking it and pushing it and forcing it. So that works both ways. And then there's the truth that people need it to be. They need some drama in it. Like I said, I don't ever introduce it for that purpose, ever. I only do it because this is the nature of my personality. I'm frustrated and irritated and pissed off, and that it just happens that comes out in my videos because that's the mood I'm in most of the fucking time. And so I'm sorry if it irritates you. I'm sorry if you think it's too much, but it's just who the fuck I am. So too the fuck bad. I mean, it's a it's a lot easier for I guess a swan to swim badly than it is for whatever. Think of something, a horned toad to swim well. And I mean, it's hard to control and still retain any kind of honesty and continuity with your own thought process. And the thoughts got passion layered on them. They have feelings layered on them, and I really don't have time to scrape that shit off to make my conversation. But obviously in a medium, I'm going to know I have to play by certain rules. In the arena, there will be rules, and if I break the rules, I'm going to be subject to the penalties for those violations. And I think that's sort of what we need. We need we need game rules. We need where people just can't. There's lots of people playing games here, right? They won't say fucktard, but they'll call somebody an idiot. This kind of bullshit. Because they'll use the polite while they'll say uneducated. Some kind of bullshit. You haven't read enough books, or some other kind of insult. It's just as insulting. It's just more words. So they've made the insult with more words, but it's just the same insult. And that kind of bullshit. The little shenanigans flag should fly up and say, shenanigans. So anyway, so we have the problem of financing mechanisms. Whether you go with some sort of Kickstarter, try to get people to invest in it, to get perks and all this kind of crap, or some sort of flat out begging donation thing, like, look, this is something good, you either donate, you don't donate, it exists if you do, it won't exist if you don't, kind of thing, which I'm sort of partial to. Or then you can also bend it into the stupid commercial mode where you shove the advertising in, and you make the concessions to the mediums, what's required to monetize in the real world that we exist in, where it's all a sham, where you buy cable TV and ESPN automatically gets money. What the fuck? I'm paying them even though I don't want them. So I mean, unless we can get some kind of special perk like that, where we're guaranteed an income, guaranteed not to fail because no one can turn us off, so to speak, because they already paid for it. I mean, what a joke. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But the subject is the sham, that is, making an honest living in the world, and it's just really hard to make an honest living. I haven't found a way to do, not a living, I mean, I've managed to find a way to make an honest survival, but that's it. And it's just discouraging. That's, the world we live in. And again, like I said, I mean, I like you, I have these other shit I have to do to live, and I'd love to spend more time doing these tools and working on this crap, and I just don't have the time. So it's always this, 2 hours here, 4 hours there, and so inefficient in a way, because sometimes I have to take a week away because I got just a lot of distractions, and I forget what the fuck I did anyway. I can't even read my own code. So then it's, I waste another hour just trying to figure out what the fuck I did 3 days ago. How did I do that? Where did I put that? What file is that in? Who the hell knows? I don't remember. So anyway, spaghetti code. I like spaghetti, but yeah, it's not a good way to write code. So anyway, so that's the first thing. We got this stupid economic problem. And then the discussion about what's the best enhancement, what's the fun little trivial stuff is nice. Maybe you need that to get some people in the door. And you need this, you need different things, you got to put different kinds of candy bars on the rack. You can't just have Nestle bars, you got to have Kit Kats and, different things. And that's probably a good idea, is to try to diversify. So, the mapping thing, with the overlays of, well, if you want to know more, if you want to see more, kind of idea, and then, that would be a good idea, is you start with the one, and you can migrate to anywhere from the one. So you could start at, you could start at the elephant's trunk and get to the elephant's ass, or you could start at the elephant's ass and get to its trunk. And so, you can layer this stuff on top of each other, which, like I said, I'm trying to do in the way I'm making these tools, is that I'm trying to modularize them, create a simple in, and then get more, one layer of menus, another layer of menu, different realms you can go to, once you're in the door. And this exterior interface might be different. This one's a comment thing. It could be just the video box. It could be, it should be on here. Yeah, just there. So this one's just my videos. So that could be the in, just my videos. It could be some other version, some other gaming thing, some other interface that maybe has just the ratings of the commenters. Like, this is the new one I'm going to be working on. It's one that does take the commenters and count how many comments they make, and on what videos, on whose videos, and that kind of thing. Find some way to compile information about who these people are and what their activity is. So yeah, I haven't started work on that, but that was going to be my next step. And then my next step was to have some way to create a system where you could have a registered account, and then the person with a registered toolbox can watch a video, and they'll be provided keywords, and they could rate the video on whether it's entertaining, whether it's technically good, whether the attitude was sincere or hostile, whether the content was informative or unique, keywords. I mean, I'm big on this keyword thing. Reduce everything to the smallest number of words possible, and as rich in information as possible, so everything can be compiled and categorized and ranked, and then we all have an incentive to improve our rank, improve the quality of our status within this arguing community before we get to the dome. And then the dome would be we'd have a Supreme Court of judges, 9, 15, whatever the number would be, and those judges would in turn be judged by another group of judges of, say, 60 or 70 or 100 people on the quality of their judgment. And so everybody would be accountable to some other system that was going to judge whether they were doing what they were supposed to do. And the only thing they could be judged on is whether they played by the rules, the guidelines of what they're supposed to do. Did they do an honest evaluation, or did they rate a video down, like 4 assholes did on my video? It's a toolbar video and 4 people rated it down. Or Luddite's comments on Derived Energy's video. Some asshole rate them into spam. And you're saying, why would you... They're just comments saying, I'm glad you got out of jail, bro. And somebody calls that a spam comment? What the fuck is wrong with people? But that kind of behavior would be void. You couldn't do that. You lose your status. You lose your license to play. If you can't play by your rules. If you can't do things honestly. So anyway, that's sort of my vision. Like I said, I'm looking more for productivity tools that'll force the conversation to get harder and realer and deeper, and to get it done. To drag it all the way to the end until the other guy's dead. Force him to beg to get out of the dome. Or just the greasy spot thing. Just wipe him out. You argue it until the argument is dead. Somebody's dead. Something's dead. Because that's what's missing. Is nothing's ever finished. Nothing's decisive. So many issues should have been disposed of decades ago, like abortion or something. This is clearly religious assholes imposing their dogma on other people. That should void the conversation right there. You do not impose your delusions on other people. That's unconstitutional in principle. It's not a valid use of the law. You don't legislate your beliefs you hold with no authority. That's absolutely a violation of the rules. You've got to believe it with all your heart and all your guts to have a right to impose it on somebody else. And I don't mean your faith guts. I mean your rational guts. So anyway. So yeah, I don't know, just a sympathetic video. I'm sympathetic to what you're trying to do, but I just don't think we have an audience. I don't think we have enough people who give a fuck. I don't think most people are terribly interested, and I think we have to feed them first before they're going to want to invest in the hope of getting more food, or however you want to metaphor it. We've got to prime the well with something fairly significant, and sadly, it's very hard to do it that way. It's hard to make the finished product almost without the resources you need to develop it. You know what I mean? This is kind of funny, right? You can't even develop it. You have to make it before you can get the resources to develop it. I mean, it's that ain't gonna happen. So we're sort of fucked. I mean, what we need is some rich fuck just give us some fucking money. And I mean, really, that should be what I should be doing, is scouring the internet for foundations and rich assholes, and maybe we should make a community video, where we all just go, please, can't you just pay us to do this shit, because it's really beating the hell out of us to do it this half-ass way. Come on, you got all that fucking money, you dumb cunt. Right? You want to do something good for the world? Well, we're going to change the world, I promise. We're going to do it. But we can't do it with no money. So give us your money, you fucker. Yeah, maybe that's what we should try. Is just try to find some rich fuck to give us a big pile of money. Yeah. Yes, yeah, geez, seems pretty logical. Yeah. Yeah. Bill Gates. Bill, really, I hate your motherfucking scummy guts. I think you're the worst human being on earth, but, yeah, could you loan me some money? Well, not really loan me, like one of those, what do you call those things when the government grant me? Could you grant me some money? Like I'm borrowing it, but I really don't have to pay it back. Come on. You're a scum and you suck and you're a blood-sucking, leechy, smelliest piece of dirty shit scum on earth, but, you still like me, right? I mean, even though I hate your guts, you still like me, right? You like me, Bill. Come on. Admit it. Come on, give me some money, Bill. Yeah. Might work. Yeah, well, I was just thinking of other things we could do. Got Lefty to make him an offer he can't refuse or something, right? But, that gets into things that might get you thrown in jail. Or make him an offer he can't refuse. Anyway, so I've probably reached the end. Yeah, so I'm dragging still. My fever is, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. I still can't quite get over this Lyme disease shit. It's kind of lingering this time, but the weather might be forcing the issue too. This is kind of exhausting. It's hot, humid, and tired, depressed. Need a back rub or something. Anyway, until next time. Good luck. Like I said, if you need any help, whatever I can do, blah blah blah. I'll play along if I can. But yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of pessimistic, just because, you just can't get anybody to give the least little bit of a fuck about anything. There's no interest.